What's up guys, today I wanted to talk about 3 shots in Marvel's Spider-Man story trailer that really aren't the best example of solid animation. So there's a lot of good animation in the trailer. However, there are a few shots that, need a little bit more time in the oven. So the first shot is going to be Spider-Man jumping off to web swing. If you look at the shot, there's really about 3 problems that I have with this shot. So the first problem I have is going to be a problem with momentum. If you look at him jumping off, he starts getting pulled by the web line before he even holds on to the web line. There's also a problem in the gameplay similar to this, but it's less noticeable because it's gameplay and you don't really, go frame by frame. This is less excusable given that this is a cutscene, because there's no possible way that his body would start contorting all the way back to the right given that he's not holding on to the web line. What should instead be happening is him actually going further out screen left, and then finally when he holds on to the web line, he gets a yank, and that's what yanks him back to screen right into the building. So the second issue I have with this shot is actually the web line. If you look closely, the web line is actually dangling in his hand. Now instead, it should be as tight as possible given the tension of him, bearing down upon it. This is most likely, in my opinion, is most likely because the web line is either keyframed or there's a problem with the constraints. So the last issue I have with this shot is that the web line begins to bend. It almost forms like a Nike sign. Not to that extent, but you guys get what I'm saying. Now, of course, the web line shouldn't be bending at all. There should be no slack in the line whatsoever, given the tension his body holding down upon the web line. Now, the second shot that I noticed that honestly just was glaring out at me was the shot of Spider-Man kicking Kingpin. So just to be brutally honest about this shot, this is nothing more than just lazy animation, to be frank. Because there seems to be honestly just 3 poses and the animator just lets them pretty much blend into one another without any type of variation or timing in the posing. It's kind of what you get from when you do pose-to-pose animation and then you just spline your animation out. Because if you scrub through the animation, the only thing that's really moving in the shot are the legs. His upper body's dead, everything else is dead. The hand poses, the arm poses pretty much stay the same up until the point of him kicking him. So the next thing that I absolutely hate is when people try to cover up poor animation with camera animation. And that's kind of what happens here. So in order to add more emphasis to the impact of the hit, instead of tweaking the animation, what is instead used is a tweak of the camera, and that's where we get this camera shake. Now what I did was I included the shot without the camera shake, and you can really see it's just, it's almost like he's on a track. Spider-Man's on a track, his legs go up, and then they just fire. There's no real animation, no counter animation in the body. There's nothing that really sells this impact. And then when you look at Wilson Fisk, he kind of goes up and over. If Spider-Man is coming down with a good amount of force, which it seems so, he should definitely just be going straight down. There should not be any up and over given the impact of his foot with his chest, and that's where it looks like it's aiming. So with that chest, he should be going straight down, kind of similar to the shot in Spider-Man 2. So the last shot that just screams, beginner animation is the shot of MJ jumping off the building. This shot, I saw it a few times when I was watching the trailer and I couldn't pinpoint it, but then I scrubbed through it and I was like, okay, it's pretty much has to do with timing. If I had to guess, I would probably guess that this was done by a junior animator because it's really just a bouncing ball exercise. It's Mary Jane jumping off the building and, free falling down to hopefully not her death. But the issue in the shot is primarily with timing and secondly with stiff posing. Now, if you even track the arc of Mary Jane, she goes into this peak like a bouncing ball and then just goes flat down. So it's not even a real good arc to her going down. And then when it comes to the posing, it seems that, they try to soften up the spacing in order so the posing doesn't feel so stiff. Now, I tweaked the shot a little bit just to get a feel of how the timing really should be looking as, and it looks awkward. And the reason why it looks awkward is that he's holding certain poses, he or she, whoever the animator is holding certain poses just a little too long. So the last thing we see of the shot is really her doing like a touchdown football pose, and I think that could definitely be tweaked. So anyways, guys, that's my feedback of the trailer. There's a lot of good shots in here. These were just a few shots that I couldn't help but notice being an animator and stuck out. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. And until next time, keep animating.